Hello and welcome to another MyMaths walkthrough. This is Indices 153. We start off, our first question is 3 to the power of 4 times by 3 to the power of 6. Now if I just explain this one, what this 3 to the power of 4 means, it just means 3 times 3 times 3 times another 3. So there's 3 to the power of 4, which bizarrely is 81. And then you've got times by, times by, there's the times. And then you've got 3 to the power of 6, which is 3 times 3 times 3, times 3 times 3 times 3. And there's 3 to the power of 6. Which is 729, I believe, some big number. Anyway, we want to multiply these two things together, and we're not actually multiplying the numbers. We're not actually going to go for the answer. We're going to go for what it is as a power, and all the powers are is how many 3's are multiplied together there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 3's multiplied together there. So we've got 3 to the power of 10. I'm just going to shut my phone up because it's going to be irritating me. Right, that's that one. Shut up. Put it over there. So then we think about this 3 to the power of 10. Well, we had 4 6's here, and 4 3's here, and we had 6 3's here, and that gives us the 10 3's altogether. But we already knew we had 4 and 6 from the top. So the rule for multiplication, if you just do 4 and then those 6 as well, add them together, then you get the 10. And the rule for multiplying indices is add the powers. These things have to be the same, but then you just add in the powers. So 3 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 6 is in fact just 3 to the power of 10. You just add the powers. So rule multiplication, add powers. Okay, so that's your basic rule for multiplication. You just have to be a bit careful, and if we ever get to questions where there's a bit more into it, then I'll show you what's a bit more. So then we go down the list. So the next one I've got is 5 to the power of 4 times 5 to the power of 6, and that's just going to be 5. So you keep this number, then you add the powers. 5 and 6 is 10, and that's the end of that question. 7 to the power of 4 times 7 to the power of 8 is 7 to the power of 4 and 8 is 12. So that's a 12. Don't know what I was trying to write there. 8 to the 9, 8 to the 9 times by 8 to the 7 is 8 to the 16. The next one I've got is A2 times A to the power of 7, which is just going to be A to the power of 9, so it makes no difference at all, the fact that I've jumped into letters. The rule for multiplication is just add the powers, so the 2 and 7 is 9. So n to the power of 9 times by n to the power of 8 is equal to n to the power of 17. Again, no difference to the fact that I've just used letters instead of the numbers for the number at the bottom. Now, if the rule for multiplying is add the powers, then it sort of makes sense for the rule for division. Rule for division is take away the powers. Okay, so that's going to be our rule for division. We can have a look why. It's a bit complicated because the numbers are quite big on the questions. So I'll just show you a quick example of why that's true. So if I've got, for example, I don't know, 2 to the power of 4, and I want to divide this by 2 to the power of 2, say, then I could just do, that's not a very good example, let's make this a 5. 2 to the power of 5 divided by 2 to the power of 2 is going to be 2 to the power of 3 if I stick with this rule. Now if I think what this means, 2 to the power of 5 is 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8, times another 2 is 8, 16, times another 2 is 32. So 2 to the power of 5 is actually 32, and I'm dividing that by 2 to the power of 2 is 2 times 2, which is 4, and 32 divided by 4 is in fact 8, and 2 cubed is in fact 8 as well. It's 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8. So this is true. So this rule does in fact work. All you need to do is take this first power and take off the second power from it, and it works out. Okay. So my questions are 6 to the power of 6 divided by 6 to the power of 3. So the answer is going to be 6. Keep the number and then just do 6 take away 3 is 3. The next one I've got is 4 to the power of 14 divided by 4 to the power of 8, which is going to be 4 to the power of 6 because 14 take 8 is 6. The next one, 9 to the power of 10 divided by 9 to the power of 6 is just going to be 9 to the power of 4. 10 take away 6 is 4. 3 to the power of 12 divided by 3 to the power of 9 equals 3 to the power of 3. And then we go into these random letters. E to the power of 17 divided by e to the power of 8 is going to be e to the power of 17 take away 8 is 9. And then the last one I've got is g to the power of 13 divided by g to the power of 9, which is g to the power of 4. 13 take away 9 is 4. And that's how quickly you can do sort out these things once you understand the two rules for multiplying and dividing. Page 2 on this task. So I'll turn over the page. So my first question is 4 cubed to the power of 3. Now, what does this actually mean? Well, it means take whatever's inside this bracket and multiply it by itself until you've got 3 of them all multiplied together. So you've got 4 to the power of 3 times 4 to the power of 3 times 4 to the power of 3. So that's what this cubed outside this bracket means get this thing, write it out 3 times and multiply them all together. Now we already know the rule for multiplication is just add the powers, so this is just going to be 3 plus 3 plus 3, which is 9. So that's going to equal 4 to the power of 9 to finish with. The general rule for brackets is to just multiply the two powers together, so that's the shortcut to get it. 3 times 3 is 9, because you were going to write out 3 of those 3s, weren't you? So 3 of the 3s is going to be 9. So that's our general rule. So the rule for brackets is multiply the powers. Okay, I can't even spell powers. Well, it doesn't look like powers anyway. Right, so if I run down that list now, so now I've got 6 to the power of 5 to the power of 4 is just going to be 5 to the power of 4 is, not 5 to the power of 5 times 4 is 20. The next one, 9 to the power of 4 to the power of 6 is going to be 9 to the power of 4 times 6 is 24. 9 to the power of 6 to the power of 8 is going to be 9 to the power of 6 times 8 is 48. Where am I at now? 8 to the power of 7 times 8 to the power of 4. Sorry, just times to the power of 4 is 8 to the power of 7 times 4 is 28. And the last one I have is g to the power of 5 to the power of 7, which is going to be g to the power of 5 times 7 is 35. And then we can start getting a little bit more awkward. So now we go into the right hand side of the second page, a little bit harder, 5 questions, 10 points. So we've got 11 to the power of 9 divided by 11, okay, and I've got e to the power of 3 times by e. Now I'm going to look at this one first, and I'm going to apply the same rule up here. Knowing that for dividing I'm going to take away powers, for multiplying I'm going to add powers, alright, so that's going to be a bit weird. So what does this one mean? This one means that's going to be equal to e times e times e, that's what e to the power of 3 means. There it is there. And then I'm multiplying, and this one is just an e, okay. So if I look at that all together, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 e's, so I've got e to the power of 4, okay. Now the point here is, there's 3 e's there, which is indicated by that 3, but there's only 1 e there. So what I can do on this e is I can just put a 1 to indicate there's only 1 e there. And that really helps me with my thinking, because now I know the rule for multiplication is just add these two powers together. So the 3 plus this 1 gives me the 4. Now that's a really good trick to understand. If there's no power, you can put a 1 there, and then going backwards, if there's a 1 there, you don't have to write it, okay? So it's a bit of a two-way job. So if I apply that rule up here, the 11 hasn't got a power on, so I'm just going to put a power of 1 there, because there's only one 11. And then I can say, okay, so the rule for dividing is take away the power, so 9 take away 1, 11 to the power of 8 is going to be the answer. We can then go to the next question, which is, for me, 8 to the power of 8 divided by 8 to the power of 7. And we already know that the rule for division is take away the powers. So that's going to give me 8 to the power of 1. 8 take away 7 is 1. And then I remember this rule that I've just thought about. Anything to the power of 1, we don't have to write that power of 1. So if 8 to the power of 1, I can in fact just write a. And that's absolutely fine. That's what we would expect to see. The next question, n to the power of 0. To the power of 4, and we already know that the rule for brackets is multiply these powers, so that's going to be n to the power of 0 times 4 is 0, okay. Now there's a thing about the power of 0, and what it actually equals, and I'm just going to give you a numerical example. So let's say we have something like 3 squared, and we divide it by 3 squared, okay. So already we should know what the answer is, because what we've got here is something divided by itself. So we've got 3 squared divided by 3 squared is 3 to the power of 0, isn't it? But something divided by itself, it doesn't matter what it is, if you divide anything by itself, it's always going to equal 1. So 3 to the power of 0 has to equal 1. Now we can put the numbers in, so this is 3 squared is 3 times 3, 3 times 3 is 9, divided by 3 times 3 is again 9, and 9 divided by 9 is going to be 1, okay? And the rule is, if there's a power of 0, the answer is always 1. And it doesn't matter if I put a letter there instead, it's going to be 1. Okay, so the answer to that one is 1. Next one, x to the power of 5 divided by, times by x to the power of 5. Then I've got on the bottom x to the power of 10. So if we start at the top, the rule for multiplication is add the powers. So I've got x to the power of 10 on the top over x to the power of 10. Now that line just means divided by, so x to the power of 10 divided by x to the power of 10. and then we know that the rule for dividing is just take away the powers, x to the power 0, and we've just discovered that anything at all to the power 0 is always going to be 1, so x to the power 0 equals 1. And it's a bit weird because we started off with this really complicated jobby over here and we ended up with just rule number 1, so that was good, nice and simplified. That's it. If you find this useful, please hit a like, subscribe, let your friends know that I'm here to help out if anybody needs any help. Okay, thank you, bye.